What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fish Aquatics. Today I want to talk to you guys about something that is very important when you're in this hobby, and that is, what do you do when your power goes out? Alright, so this is a pretty common topic that's brought up among fish enthusiasts, and that's, what do you do if your power goes out? So what happens when your power goes out? When your power goes out, you don't have any lights or anything like that. You can't see anything. You don't have any power in your home. And your filters stop running. So what do you do when your filter stops running? Because now your tank is no longer having water flowing over the beneficial bacteria to remove ammonias, break it down into nitrites and nitrates. And when you're doing that, the beneficial bacteria that's in your filter is going to start to starve, because one, it's not getting any oxygen, which helps keep it alive, and it's also not getting any ammonia passing past it, so it has no food source. So you only have about a half hour to an hour before the bacteria starts dying off. It doesn't all die off within an hour, but it starts dying off. So you want to act quickly, get those filters back up and running as soon as you can. And now, I'm not saying that's where all the beneficial bacteria is, because there is some in the substrate and on plants and on your wood and on the glass and everything, but a majority of the beneficial bacteria is going to be in your filter. So you want to take precautionary measures for if your power ever does go out, and I just want to go over a couple things you can do to help you in a situation like that. So currently my power is out. I know it doesn't look like it because all these tanks are on, and that is because I have a generator wired into my house. So outside, I don't know if you can hear it running in this video, I can hear it just because I know it's loud, is a 10,000 watt generator, and that will run my entire house. Now this fish room does use up a lot of energy. You gotta figure every one of these tanks has a heater in it. Most of them are 300 watts, there's one 200 watt and a bunch of 100 watts. But if they all come on at the same time, that does draw a lot of power. So in my fish room, just on heaters, I've got around 2,000 watts of electricity demand. So if they all kick on at once, that draws a lot of load off of that generator. So thankfully, I also have a heater specifically built into this room, so I can help heat this room when it's cooler, so these heaters don't have to work as hard, putting less load on my generator. Now personally, I feel a generator is probably the best option out there for making sure you keep your tanks running when the power's out. Unfortunately, to get a generator that will run your house or just your fish room can be expensive. My generator was on $800, and you have to hire somebody to come in and wire it into your home and everything like that. Now you could buy a generator, don't wire it into your home, and just run an extension cord in and power your stuff that way. That is an option. I chose to wire mine into my house. Now, what do you do if you don't have a generator? You do have a couple other options. One thing you can do is you can go to a store, Walmart, Advance Auto, something like that, and get a automotive power inverter. So what this is, it has a 12-volt plug that you plug into the cigarette lighter of your car, and there's a box on the end of it that converts the 12-volt direct current that's coming out of your car into 120-volt alternating current, which you can use on your fish tanks. You just plug them into that box, and your car is now powering your fish tank or your fish room. You just run an extension cord, plug your stuff in, and that will run off of your car. Now, the downside to this is you have to have your car running, because if you don't, the components that you have hooked up to it are going to drain the battery of your car and kill the battery in your car, and you kind of need that to go places. So another option for that is you can buy deep cycle batteries. They're usually for boats and marine application. And you can get a power inverter that has battery terminal clips. You just clip it onto the battery and power it that way. And then you can actually have the inverter in your fish room or hooked up to next to your tank. Hook your tank up to that and run it off of that. And just have a couple of those batteries lined up for however long the power's out. Usually a battery like that is going to last quite a while, because anglers and fishermen use them on trolling motors, and those trolling motors have a very high amperage demand, where filters and air pumps and stuff like that don't. So a very large marine battery will last quite a while. Now, what if you don't have the money to go do that? There are still options for you, but they're not as convenient. You're going to be putting in a little bit more manual labor. So basically what you're going to be looking to do is you're going to be looking to aerate your fish tank. Now, you're not going to be able to aerate the filter, so you are going to have beneficial bacteria die off. Now, what you have to do basically is you open the hood of your tank and you're going to want to splash the water, creating ripples like what an air stone would do or your filter does, creates ripples in the water, and that aids in the gas exchange so that carbon dioxide is released, oxygen is absorbed into the water, and it helps your fish breathe and keeps everything alive in your aquarium. So it is a lot more labor intensive. You are going to have some bacteria die off in your tanks, but not enough to cause serious harm as long as you are aerating your tank manually. Now, if you are in that situation where you can't afford a power inverter or a generator or something like that, something you can do, and I chose to do this as a backup just in case on all of my tanks, is run a sponge filter. So this right here is a sponge filter. Now, the reason I like these is because, one, they're hooked up to an air pump. Now, being that it's hooked up to an air pump, it doesn't cost a lot to run, it doesn't take a lot to power it. Also, all your beneficial bacteria, not all, a majority of your beneficial bacteria is in this sponge, right? Which is in your tank. So, if your tank is aerated when your power goes out, this has access to all the oxygen that's in your tank. Upside, you're not going to lose all the beneficial bacteria. The sponge is going to hold on to it because it can use the oxygen in the tank. Downside is it is using the oxygen in the tank and also taking it away from your fish. However, if you have a light stocking, it's really not going to make that big of a difference. So that's why I really like the sponge filters. Now, one last option you might have is what is called a USB powered air pump. So they're very small air pumps that run off of USB power. The reason these are good is a lot of people have battery backups for their phone. It's just a little box that you charge up and you plug your phone into that to charge it when you're on the go. You can charge up one of those packs, hook it up to the micro air pump with the USB power, and run air into your tank like that to help aerate it. Now those packs on those chargers will last a long time, but downside is you have to have a lot of them. So that is another option if your power goes out and you need to keep your tank running. So those are basically all the ideas that I have for running a fish room or running your tanks when your power goes out. So if you like the video, guys, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.